Welcome to Community Spotlight, where we'll spend a few minutes together learning more about the issues impacting us in the Twin Cities.
Hey, I'm Pam Lundell, your host for the KTIS Community Spotlight, and today, excited to introduce to you Jeremiah Osowski, co-founder of an amazing organization called Pier 22 Fishing. Welcome, Jeremiah, to KTIS.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. It's great to be with you guys today.
I love that we learn about organizations like this and the difference you are making in people's lives. Tell me how Pier 22 Fishing came to be and what it's all about.
Yeah, thanks for asking. I think, it started from a boat conversation. I was out with my buddy Ryan fishing, one of the other co-founders, and we were just talking about what can we do to give back. And, we started to focus in on where do we want to do that. There's so many people in need. And we started talking about that demographic, and we really focused on vets and kids and getting those two out, not necessarily always together, but sometimes together. And so that's a little bit of how it started, just through a boat conversation and trying to figure out how do we be better people in this world of chaos. So, yeah.
We're talking about Pier 22 Fishing with Jeremiah, one of the co-founders. And how long ago was that? How long have you been doing these amazing outings?
Yeah, 4 years ago. We started in October of, what would that be? 4 years ago. I'm not even going to do the math. But 4 years ago on a fall trip, like I said, fishing. And then we started it right away after that conversation. So.
Wonderful. And you're dealing with amazing veterans and children. So can you share, I'm sure you have a lot of them, stories about lives changed and how fishing has come to make a difference with these types of groups?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, I'll focus on the veterans first. Mm-hmm. I think, coming back from being in any type of combat or just being a veteran, I think sometimes those folks feel alienated and have a tougher time adapting, and rightfully so, with everything they go through. And I think being able to get them out and have some comradeship and know that you have a helping hand there, and just to get away from the everyday things that may be going on in their life, to be in nature and fish and, be in a beautiful setting on a lake, I think has really helped us extend that olive branch to those folks and show them that there are some helping hands out there. And, and then we build those relationships, and they have somebody to call, and it's not a one-time thing for us. It's about building that relationship over time. And some people do call one time, and some people we've taken out multiple times. And then, with the kids, I was lucky enough to have a father who was a fishing guide and got me into fishing. And I know not everybody has that opportunity. Mm-hmm. And for me, it's that piece of place that is just peaceful. And I think getting kids out and teaching them a new skill that can transfer over to a lot of different things in life. When you talk about the patience of fishing, it doesn't always go your way. You do got to think more than people realize. It's not always about throwing the bobber in the water. It's about what's the weather like today. Well, is it sunny out? And so you can teach them a lot of things that go outside of fishing. But I think the big thing is patience and just trying to have that when you're out in the water and enjoy the moment. And
are you in a boat most of the times, or are you fishing from docks?
We do a little bit of both. When we do individual trips, we are in a boat. We are blessed enough to have a couple boats that we can get people out. But we also do community events a lot of the time with kids and vets, and that is a little harder. A lot of the time that will be from a pier or a dock. And so we do a little bit of both. It depends on the situation and, the needs of what we have going on that day and the size of the group. So we can definitely get people out in boats, but we do it from shore as well. So good to have options.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm talking with Jeremiah Osowski, co-founder of Pier 22 Fishing, and that's their website too, pier22fishing.org. And can you share with me how you came up with that name? Is there any special significance to Pier 22?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of significance in the name, and, go back to the veteran piece. Unfortunately, when you talk about the 22 within our name, that's the number of veterans that commit suicide on a daily basis. Oh. And so we wanted to honor those folks that, we haven't been able to impact their lives, but still know that they made great sacrifices. And so we put that piece into our name just as a remembrance piece and to remember what we do and why we do it. And then the peer piece, of it is whatever people call it, is where kids usually get their start fishing, and all of us got our start fishing. And so we wanted to combine the two and come up with something that was memorable and meant something to us, as founders of the organization. And so that's really how we came up with the name. And again, it all happened on that boat chat some 4 years ago. So
I think God was there too, inspiring you, right?
Absolutely. I think that's a big part of, what we do, is just having faith in what we do. And again, trying to tie it back to being good people and know that there are helping hands out there. And so, yeah, absolutely.
I'm on your website looking at the gallery. And if you're listening, I urge you to go to the website for many reasons we'll talk about coming up in a moment. But the smiles on these kids' faces are absolutely priceless, holding up the fish, and they're just having a great time, and the veterans' faces too. And I'm wondering, Jeremiah, can you share maybe one story of a specific veteran that's close to your heart? You don't have to name names, obviously, but something like that. Yeah,
absolutely. I do have one that's really close to my heart. My stepfather is a Navy veteran. He's unfortunately now in a wheelchair. And there's a pic even of him up on the site, and I think we have some videos on Instagram. But we were able to get him out one day fishing. It was something he really loves to do, and used to go out in the boat. And once he was in a wheelchair, he couldn't do that any longer. So we got him out one day on Medicine Lake and had him out on the dock, and we were fishing and just had a great time of him being able to catch fish again. And, he was excited to be there. It was a great sunny day, and being able to spend that time with him too, as my stepfather, is fantastic. But then being able to get him to fish with our organization, and he was one of many veterans there that day. But then we also had the kids there catching, and the excitement across from whether you were 3 years old to him who is now a little older, was fantastic. And so I think that's one that sticks out for me when you talk about veterans. It's near and dear to my heart. He obviously served, and now it's the exact reason why we do this is try to give back and get people back fishing.
Oh, that's wonderful. And 2024 is here, and it looks like your calendar is packed with events. Can you share a couple of the highlights that are coming up, and maybe how people can get involved and attend some of these events?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the calendar is a little challenging right now because of the weather. That's made ice fishing a challenge.
I didn't know that's right. It's not just summer fishing. You could do ice fishing, right? Yeah.
We do ice fishing, and we had an event planned coming up February 3rd, but we did need to cancel that for the safety of. Yeah. That's how it goes sometimes. And but I think what we're working on right now is a summer date and potentially two. I don't have those locked in yet, but we will keep that calendar up to date. The biggest thing we have going on, though, that people should be aware of right now is that we're going to be fixing up 2 boats, one of which is already completed, and we're going to be giving those away to 2 vets. We don't know who those vets are yet, and so we're going to need some help with nominations. And I think within the next week we'll have something up on our site specifically for this. So that's the biggest thing for us over the next 3 months as we head towards spring, is to make sure that we can get that those boats in vets' hands and get that event completed. And then, like I said, we'll have 2 summer dates. I just don't know the dates yet. We got to lock in with volunteers and things of that nature. But and then we're always doing outings. So if somebody wants to have an outing, right on the website, there is a spot for that. They can click on that, fill out all the information, and then we'll find a time that works to get a vet out, to get a kid out, or to get a vet family or a family out that has kids. So there's some different options there that aren't necessarily tied to our summer community event that people could participate in as well.
Oh, amazing. Pier22fishing.org. And you mentioned volunteers. How can people get involved volunteering? And I'm sure that you would accept donations as well, right, Jeremiah?
Absolutely. That's, a big way of how our organization is funded. There's 4 co-founders, and we're all volunteers. The biggest thing is the website for us, again, has a volunteer link within the website. You simply go in, put in your name, phone number, what you're willing to help with. And then we reach out and contact people as we get closer to events to see if they're available. But the other thing is there is a donation button on the website. And we'll take any increment, $1 up to whatever people are able to give. And all of these funds go back 100% to getting vets and kids out fishing, either at our community events or the one-off events we talked about. None of us are paid, and it all goes back to those folks. We are a registered 501c3 organization as well, so that donation link is right on the site, and it goes directly to pier22fishing.org.
I love your organization, pier22fishing.org. Jeremiah, thank you so much for joining us today. Anything else you want to add?
No, we just appreciate you having us on and spreading the word of what we do. And you can also find us on Instagram and Facebook, as well as our pier22fishing.org site. So thank you for the time today.
Thanks for spending a few minutes with us on Community Spotlight. We'll see you again next week.